Now, as the trading week winds down, traders say Nigeria's bond market will retain some bullish undertone. And Akbawe Oputu, she's a fixed income dealer at Access Bank. She joins me now to tell us why. Thank you so much for your time on the show, Akbawe. I'd like to get your take for the market and why you're so bullish on the bonds market.
Okay, good afternoon, Kenneth. Thank you for having me on the show. So we've seen the bond market actually been bullish on the short and the mid-tenor maturities. There's been a lot of liquidity coming to the system in the month of September. We've seen over 430 billion coming from coupon payments, from net OMO maturities, and also from the primary market auction. So there are a lot of liquidity in the system. So we've actually seen buying interest around the short and mid-tenor bonds. The 2049 maturity, the longest end of the curve around the 2050, we actually seen bearish sentiment on those long tenor bonds trading at an average about 9.88% in the market. So we've seen sell-off mostly on the long end of the curve.
All right, well, yes, when you look into the medium term of the market, I'd like to get what your outlook is for yields.
On the medium and the short-term bond maturities, around the 2022 and 2023 maturities, we've seen them trading as low as 4.17%. On the medium tenor bonds, the 2036 and 2037 bonds, we've seen them trading at around 9.7% and 9.9%, which is really much higher than what we saw at the last concluded bond auction.
All right, but when you look at how liquidity has been a theme in the market also for quite a while now, what's your take into next week? Are we seeing some maturities that could sustain this trend?
Okay, for the money market space, we've seen rates trending at around 1% to 2% on the OBB and overnight rates respectively. And this is because of the maturities, like I said, that came into the system this week. This maturity is still going to, or this liquidity is still going to feature into next week. So we still see rates trending low around those 1% levels on the money market space. But for the fixed income market, we've seen a lot of buying interest in that space. So we still see rates trending lower in the treasury bill market, yields trading at about 3% levels on the long end of the OMO maturity curve. And on the NCB space, we've seen the longest tenured bills trading at about 2.85% and 3% levels on the 1 year paper. So on the bond space, there's going to be an auction next week. We still expect that the rates are going to trend lower at the auction due to the level of liquidity that we've seen in the system for the month of September as a whole. Quite huge. We had over 1.3 trillion coming to the system from OMO maturities, and not all those maturities were rolled over by the central bank. So we see this filtering into the bond space, and the buying sentiment continue, given the fact that not all investors are allowed to play in the OMO space.
All right, let's get into that the currency now, and I'd like to get your take on what we will expect from convergence when you look at the parallel market rates and and also the official rate, and also are the results from the SMI's retail auction out yet?
Okay, from the FX market, we've actually seen paucity of funds in the I&E window. Not much has been happening in that space. The rates have remained flat on the official window to close at 381. Despite the CBN intervention on the retail SMIs and the invisible space, we still see rates trending around 386 naira to the dollar in that space. And the central bank has also tried to intervene week on week on the BDCs, for the BDCs, but we still see rates trending upwards in that market to as high as 460, 465 naira to the dollar closing on Friday. The central bank has also tried to intervene for the internationals. We've seen them sell up to $360 million to internationals for the month of September alone. So we think that they've actually tried a lot to see how they can strengthen their presence there at the market and try to strengthen the naira, give the international some bit of comfort at the FX market.
All right, there's quite a lot to expect in the space as we wind up the week in the fixed income and FX market. Thanks so much for your analysis, Akwewe Opotu. She's a fixed income dealer at Access Bank.